and welcome to my half-finished kitchen. I'm super excited for today because it's been a long time coming. We've done the extension, so we started the extension in May, right? So May, June, July, August, and we're in September. So let's say it's been over 4 months that we've been renovating, we've created this extension, obviously our builders have, and we finally have the kitchen. So it means that although it's half finished, and obviously it's half finished because we've still got the floor to do, still some painting to do, we don't have any worktops in the kitchen, and I want to add some tiling to it, it still means that we can slowly start moving in. And that means that our fridge and freezer is working. So I today want to take some time to basically clean it up and start moving things in. So finally moving into our new kitchen. How exciting is that? I've waited for this for so long. Before we start though, I would love for you guys to join our journey of how we move into this new kitchen and start using the extension and how I'm going to basically bring things together. I'm super excited for the new content that I can create here as well for you guys. So make sure to subscribe and like this video. Let me first start by giving you a quick tour of the place. Obviously we don't have any worktops, but this like foil cellophane, no I guess it's not foil, what is it, like a plastic sheet that I've used was actually from the table here. I did notice that unfortunately my table did get a little bit scuffed, even though it was protected by this and an extra cover. Never mind. I've prepped a bucket of water, so I was thinking about actually washing this and then putting this in the sunshine. Maybe I'll do both sides because it's super dusty, but at the moment it's here. We've got the oven in place, so I want to tidy the top up because it is dusty, even though it's got those cardboards on top. Basically this is the fridge and the freezer is right next to it. So basically the plan is to go through this, give it a nice clean so that we can start moving in. This has been on for a couple of days now, so it's worth starting to use. And here's the freezer. We've already got some ice creams in there as a celebratory treat. And my son decided that this will be his snack cupboard, so that needs a wipe and a bit of a clean. Amazing. So we've got a few bits here as well on this side. So this is the island, and then we don't have any sinks or running water just yet. We've got the dishwasher here, which we can't wait to start using, and then some pipe work, which is the less glamorous side of a kitchen renovations. So that is the plan. Let's get to it. So this is actually twice as big, this fridge, than what we're used to. So I have no idea how to actually organize it. If you guys have any suggestions, I'd love to know. Obviously the veggies will go at the bottom. There's even a picture of those. And then we've got some, you know, bottle holders and egg holders over here. Although I can't remember who told me, but they said that maybe don't put the eggs on the not the handle, the door, because when you open it, it doesn't stay as refrigerated, but it needs more refrigeration. But my mum said look up on the internet where things should go, because there's always like the best temperature for those and stuff, you know. Just figuring that out. So that would be quite fun, but I didn't need to do too much. But sometimes it would have like you know, like sellotape, or I guess like some sort of tape to keep them from falling. So I do appreciate that they were on there, but I'm also glad that I gave it a wipe, and forgot to say that it's not just water, but it's also some fairy liquid as well. But yeah, basically. Oh, and the other thing, I have to had to keep closing it because it bibs at me. So basically it tells me off if I leave it open for too long. And the other thing that I need to do with all the appliances is to get the, you know, free 3-year guarantee from Howdens, and make sure to, you know, apply for that, for the guarantees, to register the appliance basically, or the appliances. So it's looking really good, and I've got double the space that I'm used to. So I'm sure it's going to be empty for a little while until we get used to it. And then I've done the freezer. So firstly, I wanted to show you how cool is this section underneath everything. I'm guessing this could be for drinks. So that's quite a cool section there. I'm sure I could utilize it for like ice blocks as well. So that'll be cool. We've got ice cream here already. And the ice, I can't speak today, my gosh, you know, the ice molds for the ice cubes. I'm gonna have to wash this first, but I've left it in there for now, as we don't actually have a working sink at the moment. So I'm glad I gave it a wipe again. I've actually got some like debris that came off just where they fitted the kitchen and everything. So also, you know, like dirty marks and stuff where the fitters were putting it together, which is absolutely fine. But I'm just saying, I'm just glad that I've given it a bit of a clean before we start using it. So let's carry on. So I've done a few more bits, which is awesome. As you can see, the water's really dirty, but I'm yet to use the blue cloth. I put these back on because I know the worktop people are coming back, and I'm going to put, actually, I might do that now, put some more protection on the oven basically. So let's cover that up, even though I've cleaned it. Inside I've managed to unwrap a few bits, which is exciting. I do have a couple of things that I need to ask my other half what they're for, but otherwise it's looking good. I just need to put it on, and then that means it's all going to be nice and hygienic and cleaned because of the heat. They say that you should put it on the heat for a while anyway. I'll check for how long and things, so that it basically gets rid of any plastic and all the smells and things. So we've got more things that we can use, which is awesome. The bits that I did leave actually is this corner here, because a part of our tap is in there, and I thought it would be fruitless to actually clean because they're going to need to put more taps and pipe work in there. So we need to connect up the dishwasher as well. But I've cleaned the outside basically. I'm not sure why these aren't closing. I've cleaned the outside, so that's great. Just checking with my kitchen fitter, because I actually wanted to add some paneling on this side as well as like a towel rack. Just need to make sure that the worktop actually comes out a little bit longer than just here basically. So I messaged him a photo to ask him as well. But apart from that, what I want to do now is clean this section here. So the plastic basically, I might have to put it on the floor, maybe back on the table, give it a good wipe, and then try and dry it with, I've got like a dry microfiber towel over here. So basically it's looking good so far, and I'm really excited to start using it. But what I just realized, actually talking to you guys, is that I didn't touch the island yet. There's just so much space. I'm overwhelmed. I've never had such a big kitchen before, so I am super excited to start using it. So I wiped this over front and back and I'm so glad that basically it's a nice warm day and full of sunshine, which means that it's going to dry in a jiffy. I also used a dry cloth as well to just help that along, but it's looking a lot better. It was so dusty, and you can tell because of the water getting darker and darker. Look at this. Definitely lots of dust that you can't, you know, tell properly that actually it's there. So the island is now sorted and we can start using the bins if we wanted to, which is super exciting. I can't wait to basically just move in. So I couldn't wipe all of this out because we've got some extra things. This is for the shelving when we actually understand what we need. I probably won't touch the cupboards at the top today because I've run out of time, but I'll definitely start moving a few bits at the bottom here, if not today then tomorrow. And then basically once these move out, then I can clean them and we can use this for the cutlery and other things as well, which is cool. And then this one, I didn't know whether to clean it, but there was like a dead fly in there so I cleaned it anyway. But basically we're going to try and put some electrics into this cupboard at the bottom here for a whole area of powering up and, you know, charging, like a charging station for devices, whether it's iPads, phones, Nintendo DS, that kind of stuff. So that will go in there, which is super awesome. So I'm going to sort out the dirty water and then we can start putting some things in, which is super exciting. I know I keep saying that it's exciting, but we've waited so long for this and we've not had a proper kitchen since moving into this property like 3.5 years ago. So let's just face it, I can't wait and can't believe that we're finally at that stage where we can start moving things in bit by bit. So apart from the chaos, I hope that it's been exciting so far, and don't go anywhere because we're going to start putting at least the pantry into this new kitchen, as well as fridge and freezer bits. It's day number 2 and I've got a few things that I want to unpack today. So I found 2 boxes of the kitchen stuff, miscellaneous items. I think some of them are like mugs. I've written like little notes on the boxes, and I've also got a new lamp that I want to open up and see, and even though the space isn't ready for it to go into, I just want to make sure that it works because the expiry is running out for giving it back and refunds and stuff. So yeah, just want to make sure that it's still nice and that it still works, so that's good. Basically, I think I'm going to need to clean and dust some of the top shelves as well, because if there's mugs in the boxes, I think I'm going to need to put them at the top, right? So you'd have the mugs at the top, wouldn't you? I'm sure some of these things are going to get shuffled and I'm overthinking it, but I just want to make sure that I'm utilising the space as much as I can. So let's get to it. It is super cute and I totally love it, so I'm definitely hoping to keep it. It's just one slight problem. I have no idea where our light bulbs are. So like usually we'd have them, you know, in the garage, quite like an organised mess. But now obviously we had to clear the garage. I have no idea where most of the boxes are. So basically I'm left without a light bulb. At least I put it together though, and I do know that it looks nice and it's exactly the style that I wanted. Once that corner is sorted and all the flooring goes in, then I can put it next to the radiator, which is going to go like that way, which is vertical. Yeah, so basically it's going to be in the corner and then the lamp's going to be like around it. We've also got like light switches and plugs in that corner as well. But let's move on promptly. So Aiden's at a language club. My other half's doing like the DIY bit. So he's going into like DIY shops, getting other bits like from plugs to lights, you know, spotlights and things. So they're busy and I'm trying to basically unpack a few bits so that it just feels a little bit more homey, even though we've got half the room. So one of the things that I found that's been packed away is not this one, it's this new one, but I just wanted to share with you like the ocean bottles. I can't, you know, recommend them enough. They're just so amazing. They're so robust. And secondly, they're like a thermos. And the one thing that my kid loves is the fact that you can have like a little cup, you know, like a camping thing you would usually have. But anyway, it keeps it as cold and warm as you want it to be, because obviously it's insulated inside. And then basically this bit comes off because it's like, you know, it's fun and it's more comfortable, especially for little ones. And then there's a lid as well if you wanted to use it like a bottle, completely leak proof, so it's amazing. And this one's obviously the bigger size, and in forest green. They are quite pricey, but they're definitely worth it. And then basically there's this one, so my other half got some from work as well, so we've got quite a few. I've got different sizes as well, but this one doesn't want to come out. I'm gonna have to rip into it. The one thing that I love about this brand is the fact that obviously they're all about eco-friendliness and recyclability. Basically on their packaging it says this bottle has stopped 1,000 plastic bottles from entering the ocean. So basically you're doing a good deed as well to actually, you know, protect the oceans as much as possible. And this one is in black. So this one's got a straw and a lid at the top that opens up like this. You just press on it. Again, leak proof, which is pretty cool. And it's a little bit like those Stanley, you know, bottles that everybody rages about at the moment, but it's pretty much the same. If anything, I actually prefer these guys. Sorry guys, no offense, but I've been using these bottles for so long, for like years, literally years. I've taken this big one to the park, and look at the scuffs. The fact that like we could drop it from literally the top story of our house and it still survives, like it's amazing. And the fact that, you know, they're doing it with an eco-friendly angle as well is exactly what I want. I've not used this one yet, so it's basically like a lid, like a sippy lid, I think. Yeah, because it opens up like this, you know, twists, and then you can close it. So I'm yet to try that function out. There's some other lids as well that this one comes with, so new and swish, and different colours, and highly recommend it. And I think I'm going to put this in so that we can start using it. Now it's taking me about 2 hours to figure out where I want to put it. You know, it's one of the first things to go in, and I've no idea how I want to arrange these things. So I'm just going to shove it in the cupboard, and if it gets moved, it gets moved, right? Ridiculous. So I've made a choice. I thought, okay, so you should have glass near the sink because that's where we're going to be getting the water, right? But then I thought, if it's high at the top, I don't know if my son can reach it. So if he can't reach it, I'll have to have like a cupboard especially for him so that he can help himself. But then again, I thought, what if he gives it to other people as well? So like if he gets a drink for others, does that mean he's going to have to climb, get this? Choices. It was slow going, and I noticed that I was dawdling and looking at the things but not actually doing anything, and I thought, what is actually wrong here? So firstly, it's a lot of decision making, but secondly, I wanted to lay everything out first, and I didn't have like a worktop to do that, so I thought I'd grab a piece of wood here, put it like a fake worktop for now, so that I can actually lay things out and actually see what I've got. Then I can make the decision. So I do think that's going to be a little bit easier. I've had this like tea separator, like tea organizer, for so long. I think I got it in a sample sale when I worked for Debenhams. I think that's right, or I got it, I don't know where I got it from, I can't remember. Maybe I got it as a gift. And basically I've got so many teas in there, but I need to basically start using them. Obviously it's been in storage, so I couldn't, but now that I've got everything out and I know that I've got things, I just start, you know, using the teas and replenishing them as well. There's lots of items that, basically these were the last minute things to go, which means that we actually use these things quite a lot before putting them away. And do excuse the fact that I'm just going to throw things on the floor. More tea, so Earl Grey, a staple of a British household, if I do say so myself. We've got some statues that we could start like putting decorative things up. I'm not quite sure. I might actually put that away and do that at the very last. There's probably no doubt that there's going to be a lot of things to go back into the box. A, because I've got no idea what to do with them, and B, because I think it's not the right time for them to come out just yet. So I've got salt and pepper shakers, got my favourite Stitch mug, which is super cute. I know that the kids like to use them as well, so my nieces, when they come round. I've got a couple of, you know, those fun mugs that can be used for like hot chocolates and things, which they do enjoy. I missed some of these things, like this was from Colchester Zoo, I think. I've got a matching one, so this one's my other half, so that's a lion. I'm pretty sure I've got the giraffe somewhere, but I've missed my mugs, my gosh. So this one I got as a gift from my best friend, and basically it just says my favourite. So I thought that's a lovely coffee mug. I can't wait to start using them again. We've got a couple of, you know, cup and saucers here, and I'll show you them properly in a second. And I got these from M&S. Obviously they need a little bit of a wipe, but otherwise they're really lovely to just like, you know, have coffee in. And I'm looking forward to, how can they get dusty in the box? I'm looking forward to actually having the cafetiere out and, you know, the coffee machine here, and start using this kitchen. I'm so excited. Right, this is for kitchen roll. So it's more than a few hours later, and my husband has been doing a very good job going from B&Q to home and then back again, and then keeps on going until we found the right green for our walls. So these are some of the choices. There were actually a couple more behind me, but he already repainted on those white. So those were the ones that we started off and that I couldn't show you, apologies, were the Dulux ones. And one he said was too dark, which I agree with, and the other one was like a grass stain, he called it. But now I think we've chosen the middle one, hence it's bigger than all the others, because when we thought, oh, this one might actually be it, he did a bigger piece to see whether he's actually happy with it. And thankfully we have arrived to a decision. I'm laughing because he's singing in next door, even though he knows I am filming, so I'm going to keep this in. Guys, he's chosen also some blue ones, even though I was like, we literally are looking for a green one. So he thinks that they are quite green, but then he did agree that actually beside the green ones, it is a lot bluer than you think. So he was, I guess he was drawn to the teals, to the blues, but nevertheless, we've chosen a green one, like from the inspiration and the mood board that we did. And I think we've chosen these ones. So to give you some examples of what these were the samples that he laid out nicely for me. Essentially, most of these are Good Home. And then the other brand was Farrow and Ball. So we've chosen quite a few different brands. It's really hard to choose a green. We also did see some Valspar ones. So they actually had some, you know, actual papers, or what would you call these? You know, like bit samples, but they're actual card. And I personally don't like card because you can't actually tell what the paint is going to come out as. Yes, I know ideally if you do like 2 or 3 layers it would look like this, but in my opinion paint does dry differently on a different type of wall. So basically I wasn't happy with the Valspar ones anyway. So I actually used Valspar in my previous house and I wasn't happy with the quality, so I actually vowed not to buy a Valspar paint again. I know it was many years ago, they probably come a lot further and it's probably doing a lot better now. Like, I bet you the paint is a lot nicer now because it was like 6 years ago. But you know, after you have an experience with a brand, you sort of just don't want to go back to that anymore. Sorry, I dropped some, so I thought I'd pick it up. So anyway, I'm going to actually walk you through the kitchen and what I've done so far, because that was like a mega detour of what we were actually doing today, isn't it? So I think I'm going to have to do a part 2. So there's quite a few things that I couldn't put in that I wanted to, because I realized the electrician's coming and is actually going to need the space. So there's no point of me putting it in order to take it out next week, you know, and then do a complete yo-yo and waste everybody's time, my own time. So yeah, basically I'm gonna turn you around and walk you through the kitchen. So for one thing, I wanted this cupboard for bigger, chunkier things. Pantry as well, but I've not touched anything there because I've mentioned it earlier, we've got the tap in there, so I can't do anything about it. For this, I've added like the wine cooler in here. So I got a terracotta cooler for I think it was my anniversary last year, and I can't wait to have some wine with it. But essentially we want to like DIY a wine rack in there, so we're gonna have to do like a IKEA trip and see whether we can do anything there. And then similar sort of situation here, I want to do a spice rack up here, or maybe I'll fit that in down there. I don't know yet. Basically there's a lot of decisions to make which are really hard. So spice rack somewhere, so I couldn't put anything in there. These two, my husband and I need to choose together because it's going to be 2 display cupboards on either side, and he was really looking forward to that. I did put in some bottles in here, like you would have seen. I'm not sure it's the right place for them in here because my other half said it's complete waste of space. They could be standing up, which is also true, but we'll see where it goes. I've got the toaster in here, and I've got like other things like waffle makers and things like that to come out from the loft and storage. I did manage to do Tupperware, so this looks really good in my opinion. I'm really happy with it. Lots more space where I could put more Tupperware and stuff in there. That's a lunchbox which has like a spoon, fork and spoon in there. So I really love it. It's got compartments inside as well, so that's pretty cool. Banana Tupperware box because they don't travel well. I've done his snack cupboard as well, so this is my son's cupboard. He's already filled up a bottle. Was super excited to find an old one that he's not used for a long time. Freezer, haven't added too much in there, and the same with the fridge because we are still in the other room because there's still no tap and the air fryer's there and everything, so I've only put in bits that, you know, store well and for a long time. And then basically we'll see how we get on and how much more we can actually add to it basically as the couple of weeks go. So I've added another shelf in the hopes to do a pantry in here, but then I realized the electrician is going to have to go under there to put in electrics. I want to basically make this into an electrics cupboard or electrics drawer, in the sense that if you've got like an iPad or a phone or Nintendo DS, all of those can be charged up down there out of sight, and nice and everything. And also, if there is electrics down here, we could basically run a wire here and then just have the air fryer on the worktop if and when we need to. Basically this is more tricky because we need these things to finish off the kitchen, and I don't want to put any knives and forks in there just yet because we're still using the other kitchen for now, or like the temporary kitchen for now. I want to put plates in there, but I bought new plates which are in the loft and I've not had a chance to go and get them. Plates, bowls, you know, that kind of stuff. And also frying pans and all of those induction stuff as well. So basically got a few bits down there, including like an egg fryer, I guess, egg plate or whatever they're called. I can't wait to start using them, but I don't know whether you can use that with an induction hob. Unless that's in the oven, because those can go in the oven. I don't know, I'm just talking out loud. I've got a nice plate there that I usually use for Christmas, some, you know, food cover as well down here. And that actually reminds me what I did up there. I put in some baking things and things that I'm less likely to use. So basically I've also put like a book in here because I'm not quite sure what to do, but I've got a lot of recipe books, so I need to find a space where they go. I think I might end up actually putting lots of books on the other side of the room. And I do apologise for the absolute mess that is here, but basically we wanted to do some shelves on this section here, make a little library. So I'll probably end up putting my recipe books on that side. I'm super happy with the progress that I made and how productive I was, even though it feels like not much, but actually in my brain I'm like, aha, that space is for this space is for that. Even though there's no things in there, I'm actually clearer in my head to basically move into the space once it's all nice and finished. So probably won't be finished the next time I'll show you like a stage 2 of moving into the kitchen, because I'm hoping to do the tiling myself, and basically that's going to take some time and choosing what tiles I want and things like that as well. But apart from that, I'm really happy with what we've done today. Thank you so much for joining me. A super motivation if you wanted to get something done around your house as well. So thank you for joining me on this journey, and I'll make sure to do a part 2 of this moving into our new kitchen session.